Welcome back to Lifestyle. We're so glad you're viewing, and I teased you about putting up my Christmas tree, and somebody asked me, did you really put up your Christmas tree? Yes, I did, and I'm going to show it to you because I had a little inspiration with my Vegas balls. You see right in the center the Vegas showgirl that has big plume, and she has eyelashes in turquoise, in the fuchsia color. There's a little turquoise one on the side, but that was my inspiration for the tree this year. And then I went to an art party, and you know, Jenny Speaks, she's been on the show. She created these art balls that look sort of marbleized in fuchsia and orange. Anyway, I just got so excited. I just had to go ahead and put up my tree. Well, that's what we're talking about on the show. And I did use the brand new LED lights. So if you haven't changed over to those, I understand that they last a long time, and I have the guest on the show to tell us all about it. Well, let me introduce you to my guest. I'm so excited that Amanda Duensing is back with Simblist Group. So glad to have you.
Thank you, Denise. I'm so excited to be back.
I know you've got some great ideas we're going to be talking about, and Bob Lyons is here with us from Outdoor Lighting Perspectives and Nashville Christmas Lights.
Right. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to get right to it. We are talking about, well, getting ready for the holidays. That's a pretty exciting thing. Well, Amanda, you've got some great ideas. One of the things you and I were talking about is when you have people over, everybody likes to gather in the kitchen where the food and drinks are. So if you move them out and you have a little beverage center, it works really well. Tell us how to do that.
Well, I think it works in so many different ways. You could do it in the morning with coffee. You could set up a little bar, and then nobody's ever looking for the sugar or the creamer. Everything is in one place, and you just make it festive by adding a few decor elements. You can also do a cocktail bar, and it's just nice to have everything in one spot.
And one of the things you do with the Simblist Group, we forgot to even say that, but that you actually sell a lot of this product right here locally. Tell me what we're seeing here.
So this is an example of a little setup with a bar. A lot of people have bar carts or different little bar setups, and this is a great way to make that with a tray. If you don't already have a little bar setup, you can easily create it by just gathering everything together on a tray like this.
And this really gets everybody out of the kitchen and over to the bar area.
Yes.
This is really beautiful too. So that's set up, is that a silver tray?
Yes, this is another example. You could do so many different styles of trays, and this is just a different look, but the same idea of just creating your own little cocktail bar with a tray and just putting everything nicely organized together.
Well, I like what you have here. We've got one more picture. Again, just having your trays and your glass pieces, you gather it all in one place, and you know, getting it organized before the party starts really helps you be a good hostess and helps you not to just, you know, be pulling your hair out. In fact, you can enjoy the party if you do that. I want to show what you've done with the Thanksgiving. Oh, it's all ready. It's all fall. Look what we have here. Tell me what we've got on this beautiful tray.
So this one, I was kind of just thinking about Thanksgiving morning. If you have guests over, you can easily just assemble your coffee pot, your creamer, your sugar, some fun festive napkins.
Look at those. Those are fun. Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Yes, you could add a cute little pumpkin. We've added a little acorn. Of course, if you had a bigger tray, you could put the coffee mugs. You can spice it up with some Kahlua. There are lots of things that you can do.
I mean, she's talking about for breakfast. I mean, we're spicing it up. I love the fact that this makes it so easy, and it's obvious when your guests get up in the morning, they know exactly this is out for them. I mean, what a special treat. This is like being in a high-end hotel.
Yes.
I don't know, your guests may never leave.
It's a bed and breakfast.
I love it. That's perfect. Thank you so much, Amanda. Well, Bob, tell me about Outdoor Lighting Perspectives and also the Christmas light division that you do.
Well, we started 28 years ago doing outside landscape lighting, and over the years we had done Christmas for years and years, and then all of a sudden it got to be where we weren't taking care of our regular customers, and so Christmas sort of fell by the wayside because it's really hard to do with incandescent lights. And then the LEDs came out, and everybody didn't like LEDs because they were blue and they just didn't look as
That's
good as
what I had a hard time
everybody
with.
Says. What they don't realize, it blends in and it keeps on going, and new ones have come out. And now I think you use some warm white, what they call warm white. There's living white, which is the blue, and there's warm white, which is the warmer, more like incandescent, just exactly.
And it looks
like it.
more like candlelight to me. That's why I liked it. And the moment they came out with that one, that's what I loved.
And most people, it's still the white, the clear in incandescent, the clear or the warm white is still the #1 color of anybody's decoration on the outside. We're getting a little bit more color involved, and it's really good because now the LED is a saturated color, and some people aren't used to, when I say saturated, that means they're not changing incandescent from beige or warm white to a green. They're actually producing green light. So when you see LEDs, it's true green, true blue, true red, that type of thing.
Well, let's see some pictures. You've got some pictures of some beautiful homes. Tell me what we're seeing here,
What
Bob.
you're seeing there is just some low-level lights that are on the bushes, and then it's outlined with what we used to call old C9s, which is the stuff that everybody grew up with. But they're all LED. They're doing that uses about 10 to 15% of the total wattage that the old ones used to use. So you don't have to stretch your power sources on the outside, and you don't have as much trouble with ground fault protection failures. So you can do a lot of things with it.
Okay, and
That's the same. That's a very similar
one.
picture, except for that's a better. Now you see wreaths up at the top. You can use natural wreaths, or you can use artificial wreaths. These happen to be artificial wreaths with bows on them, and that's what they look like.
Okay.
So,
and we've got some more. Now this is beautiful. So you just outlined the house. Now, what is your advice for the viewers who are watching? Gosh, those pitches are pretty high there.
we don't do that. We actually use roofing guys, roofing companies to do that, because we don't want our guys up on the roof, and I don't particularly want any homeowner to get up there and do that, because we actually do that from the roof, and we're on the pitch of the roof. And like you say, that's too high of a pitch of roof for a homeowner to get onto.
So when my husband said, "No, honey, I'm not going to go do that. I'm not going to get up on that."
Smart move. He's a smart man.
Yes. And we've got another picture too that we're going to show that has some beautiful lights as well. Just beautiful. Tell me about these trees now. Are all of these LEDs?
Everything there is LEDs. The wrap, they're using a combination of a fairly really heavyweight garland coming down with huge bows. Those bows on that house are probably 36 to 38 inches in size.
Wow. That's that's scale and balance. Isn't that so
you have
important?
to have that with that kind of house. You have to have that. Now it's got some landscape lighting behind it, so it makes a total package of it. So
and that's something that you do. I mean, that really is your main business, is that you do all of the landscape lighting. You light up homes, and we're going to be seeing some of that. We're going to see more of that in just a moment. Well, we've got some more tray ideas. I love this concept, Amanda. I just think that now we're doing a little Christmas, so I'd love for you to tell us all about this.
Yes, so this was really easy, just something that we threw together just to have a variety of drinks and everything you need, your bottle opener, you have your cocktail. You could also we have the little fun napkins, but you could also squeeze in some glasses, so you can easily just make a little festive setup.
I mean, the fact that you just add the colorful napkins, this is so important, and you can pick these up. I know that Bella Linea has some of your things. There's some other, you sell to so many local companies. We want to encourage everybody to, hey, this has a D on it. Did you mean to bring that with a D? But you have everything. So what I like about this is it allows your guests to sort of serve themselves. So you may be in the kitchen, bringing out the hors d'oeuvres, or maybe you're answering the door, or, in this, setting it up like this, and just to have a tray. I mean, that's a very simple thing. We've got a couple of more pictures too of different ideas. This is great because I can see where easily you could set this up in a different room, and again, moving all of the groups out of the kitchen.
Yes, normally this is an entryway table that's not used as a bar, but when you have a nice tray like this, you can easily just put some cocktail mixers or your champagne and glasses, and then all of a sudden you have an instant bar. Oh, and here's kind of what inspired the idea of the coffee bar. This is actually in the kitchen, but everything is nicely organized. You don't have any guests Thanksgiving morning digging around looking for the condiments and the coffee mugs and everything they need. It's just
they're
right
opening
there.
all the doors. And, there's nothing more frustrating when you're at someone's home, and that's the first thing I want when I wake up is I need the coffee.
Yes.
Where's the coffee? Just get the coffee mugs out. Make sure or even trying to use someone's coffee machine.
Yes.
I'm like, just set it up so I can push the button. So those are just some really hospitable things that you can do when you're having company over. Just getting yourself a small tray. Aren't these great ideas? Well, we're going to see more ideas for decorating your home with lights. Tell me, Bob, one thing that we were talking about is wattage is really important, and one of the things that I know my husband and I had trouble with was the old lights. They would sort of blow up, and every time they would blow out all of the lights. What was that?
What happens is each circuit on the outside has to have a ground fault, and ground fault is normally when electricity tries to go ground, but in Christmas lighting it's more of a function of how much power you're using for a specific circuit. So if you got a 1800 watt circuit, if you go much over 700 watts every time it rains, and believe me, that's the reason why we sort of got out of it. Every Friday night and every Saturday night during party season, it would rain, and Bob, my son-in-law, and I would be out in our party clothes behind bushes, pushing buttons, trying to get them to work. Well, with LEDs, you can actually use about 10 to 20%. So if you're using 700 watts, you're only using 70 watts to 100 watts.
Right.
So therefore you don't have LED, or you don't have any ground faults that are popping.
So is it true that you can wrap it with tape and save it?
That doesn't
work.
You can put plastic bags around it, you
Okay.
can tape it, you can use special extension cords. It really doesn't. It's a function of wattage, and everybody wants to put more lights on than what their power really needs to be.
Like the Griswolds, when you saw that. I mean, if you've seen that, he gets it all decorated, and he just puts it right together, and then his wife, and then you see the auxiliary turning around and around.
It's that's one of my favorite movies. Being in the lighting business is really fun. But you're right. It's something that you really have to watch. But with LEDs, it's so much easier. It's like in regular landscape lighting. We're now about 65% of our business is in LEDs, where just 2 years ago, about 10% of it was. But you don't have to have as big a transformers. You don't have to have as much wattage. Plus, you're saving difference of $6 a light for a year, difference in power consumption.
Right.
So, I mean, there's...
And especially if you're running all of your Christmas lights throughout the season. We've got a couple more pictures, too, that we want to see of the beautiful lights. Now, this is the one we showed earlier.
Yeah, and that shows the wrapping of a tray.
Oh, okay. And we have another one. Yeah,
there's
this
an
is
entrance.
so pretty.
There's an entrance. Now, there's a combination of landscape lighting with the trees in the back done. And then, again, that's warm white. And I believe they're battery-operated units on the gates, so you don't have to have a wire running onto the gates. And you can buy battery-operated units to put on your front door.
So that's your recommendation, is not to have that wire coming through, because if you shut the door, you could...
It doesn't, and plus it doesn't look good. We were putting mics on, and we're trying to hide wires there. You want to hide the wire as much as you can. And a lot of times you have this big open wall, and you don't want a wire running down the bottom of it. So what you do is you just use a battery-operated one, and to be honest with you, if you're burning them 5 hours a night, a season, 2 batteries will carry it for a season.
2 batteries will carry it for a season.
One set of batteries will
and
carry
does it have it where it can come on?
It automatically comes on. It's got a 5-hour timer normally on it, or a 3-hour timer.
Okay.
And it's not something that you use on everything, but on doorways or entrance gates. That's a great way to do it.
And will the lights be just as bright as if it was electric?
LED, that's the strange part. With incandescent, if you lower the voltage, they get dimmer, just like a dimmer on the wall.
Right, okay.
Well, with LEDs, if you're getting power to them, it's the same brightness if you're getting 8 volts to them or 12 volts.
Wow, good tips, great tips, folks. And we've got so much more coming up, but did you notice the flowers? Just want to make sure that you know that Ilex for Flowers, they do such a fantastic job. We're just admiring all the color that we see here, the coxcomb in red, and also the lilies, as well as, here's some thistle right back here. So ladies, take a little thing off of your list and call Ilex for Flowers at 736-5200. And when we come back, we have lots more tips for you, as well as a gift idea for your friend that can cost you about $10. That'll be coming up right after the break.